Yo, what's going on, guys? Trey back again here, bringing another video. This time I'm going to be doing a video review of The Walking Dead season 2, episode 8. Nebraska. Just got done, finished watching the episode, guys. It was absolutely sick. Such a good episode. As always, this review is going to contain spoilers. So if you're worried, if you haven't seen the episode yet, or you're looking for the episode, I'm going to tell you how to get it. Go to isohunt.com, okay, through torrents, search for Walking Dead Nebraska. It should be up in a few hours. You should be able to download it and watch it. So, wow, was this a great episode, guys? This episode was such a good builder episode after Pretty Much Dead Already. Pretty Much Dead Already was the, Sophia in the barn, zombie Sophia, you could say, with the mid-season finale with Rick being the one to do it. So this episode pretty much takes up right after that leaves off, just a continuation of that. Right after that ends, boom, go right into the next step. Very next thing we get to see, Rick dropping the gun, and then the story progresses from there. So we get a little bit of some slow periods here, some good character interaction between the characters, and really good character development throughout most of the episode. And then at the ending, of course, we get the huge, intense arc building, story building scenes that are really going to carry through for the next one. So last spoiler warning. Okay, let's get right into the details of it, guys. So pretty much, as we start off, we get to see Hershal's daughter, his other daughter. I forget her name, not Maggie, one of the blonde ones. She runs over to kind of, to get her mom. Rick kind of tries to stop her, but he doesn't all the way. You know what I mean? Really, he should have stopped her because she goes over there, she sees her mom, and then her mom as a zombie grabs her on her wrist. Okay, and I knew right away, as soon as and then her mom, the zombie's still alive. They put her down. Zombie kill of the week for this episode. There wasn't too many zombie kills. Actually, was there only one? Yeah, there was only one. So by default, zombie kill of the week goes to Andrea with the farm tool. Was it a pitchfork or something else? Pickaxe or I don't know, something like that. I didn't really get to see it. It's a cool scene where T-Dog actually got a chance to do something. He got to stomp the zombie a little bit, mess up a little bit before Andrea comes in with that. So zombie kill of the week goes to Andrea. Yeah. Oh, something I want to touch on that they didn't touch on this episode. So his daughter's starting to get sick. Now, here's the thing about it. I don't know a lot of people who are maybe new to zombie, fiction, this kind of stuff. You might not know that if zombies scratch you, okay, you'll also get infected. So they don't have to bite you; they can scratch you too. So when her mom grabbed her, if she's got nails and stuff, you know what I mean? The zombie, she's probably infected. You know what I mean? She's probably going to turn pretty soon. It looks like she's on the way. I don't think it's the type of thing where she's feeling sick or anything like that just because of the situation. I'm pretty sure she's infected. So I think that's something. So that's one thing that's going to be happening coming up in the next, this story arc that's going to be, really exciting to see how that turns out, when she turns, what happens with that. Very cool stuff with that going on there. We get to see some of Carol mourning, and her kind of, just being sad. Because, I mean, she's lost her whole family at this point. She really has nobody left. And, seeing her dealing with her sense to, go on and to strive on forward, it's going to be tough if she can continue to hold on there. But obviously, we got to see a cool scene with her and Shane, where Shane's helping her, kind of clean up, and he's trying to, lift her spirits. Maybe not a lot, but just, a little bit, whatever. That's the thing with Shane, is that he gets, he's got the hot headedness where he kind of goes off, but then he comes back here and there. He comes back and he shows that he does care about the group, and he's just trying to do what's best for the group. The thing is, he's got a lot of he's got a lot of testosterone, so he's always kind of the angry one. So some cool scenes with Shane. One of the ones I liked a lot was Shane in the car, where he stops and he's looking back at Dale, and Dale's just kind of looking at him, and it's sort of like Dale's like kind of like the father of the group. When your dad is he's just kind of like looks at you, and you just know what he's thinking. And it's just like, he doesn't have to say, he doesn't have to say anything, but it's like, just like like just from his emotions and his body language, just like, in your mind, right, you just hear that he's disappointed, like disappointed, like, the father of the group, Dale, with all his wisdom and everything, he's disappointed. So Shane gets mad. He deals with it in that way. When things like that happen, his instinct is to get angry, but it doesn't change anything. The meaning is still there. Dale's still there looking at him, kind of being like, at least that's the sense I got of it. That Dale's kind of like the father of the group, and he's like, he's disappointed, and his, group's quote unquote son, I guess you could say. And at least that's the thing with me. At least when I was younger and stuff, if I ever messed up, my dad didn't have to say it. He'd just look at me, and I'd be like, Oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. All right, I got it. And then you learn from that. So anyway, that's the sense that I took from that scene, and I thought that scene was very cool to see Dale. Sometimes you say more when you don't say anything, so it's true. So going on from that, of course, Hershal's daughter probably being infected. Hershal leaves to start drinking again to a bar. I thought he was going to go to a church, but I was wrong. It was a bar. I was wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. And wow, the ending scene. Oh, so crazy. So he starts drinking. You got some cool scenes with him arguing with Rick, and then they before I get into the part at the end, let's talk about a few other things first. Actually, let me just get sidetracked a little bit. So we get to see some scenes with Rick sort of talking to Hershal and being that strong leader still, explaining to Laurie that no, we need Hershal because he's very valuable to the group. First of all, he's got this farm. He's got it pretty safe, not 100% safe, but decently safe place where there's space in between. So, you're not going to get too many walkers coming all at once. It's not, a city or something. And he's got the tools and he's got the knowledge. He knows how to farm. He knows how to use all these tools, and he knows how to, grow food. So, that he can, all that stuff, he can provide for them. So he's very, very valuable to the group. Shane is more just being hot-headed, and he doesn't think about, like, how valuable is this farm and him. Not even just the farm, because you can go get another farm. I mean, you can go clean out a farm in a day probably and kill all the walkers there with a group that size. The fact is that he's got the knowledge on how to use everything on the farm and how to, how to do all these things. And that knowledge is very, very valuable. No question about it. So he's trying to bring Hershal back, which it looks like now it was probably a good, a good decision on his part because, Hershal ran into those guys at the end. So then we get to see Laurie, more arc building, character building stuff, where you get to see her. Okay, I'm going to say this again about Laurie, man. She is just like, she has almost no redeeming qualities at all. She's such a bitch. There's no question about it. She's just such a bitch. Yeah, she's just such a bitch, man. I can't believe how much of a bitch she is. So she goes after them like an idiot, and all of a sudden becomes a damsel in distress. Totals the car and stuff like. Oh my god, man, what a freaking fail! Total fail of a wife, dude. Just oh man. All she does is bitch. My favorite part of the whole episode, or one of them, second favorite part of the whole episode, she goes and asks Daryl, or she doesn't really ask him. She tells Daryl, I'm going to tell you because she's just such a bossy bitch. She tells him to go in, and he calls her olive oil. That's awesome. I love that. Daryl calls her olive oil. That was great. Absolutely. So good stuff. And then another cool scene is Rick's in the car with Glenn, and he's talking to him about it, and Glenn's talking about when Maggie tells him that she loves him and this kind of stuff, and he's like, I never had anyone say that to me except for, well, like my mom. My mom loves me. I just thought that was like kind of a funny thing too, So, and then yeah, so that's pretty much all I want to say about that stuff. So let me think. Is there anything else? Okay, so yeah, so a great filler episode overall. Now let's talk about the ending. Holy shit, this ending was awesome. By the way, so glad to have The Walking Dead back. Oh, so stoked, man. I love The Walking Dead. I can't wait to see the season finale and just like watch this whole season over again on like Blu-ray and stuff. I'm just so stoked. My mind exploded. So now here's the thing about the TV show and the comic book. Rick in the comic book was kind of stupid. He would be too inviting to people that he didn't know. He would just invite everyone into his group, like, oh, you're alive? Then you're on our team. Come on in. You know what I mean? Let's join forces. Let's we're against the zombies. Everybody, let's join in. But in the TV show, the Rick is smarter. So this for me was like a huge pressure cooker moment at the end of the episode. I was just so stoked that these two guys walk into the bar, and right away, like Rick's a police officer. You don't need to be a police officer to have good deductive skills, deductive reasoning skills, but anybody can do it. But you kind of get the sense from them, like almost right off the bat, like the first thing they say, like "son of a bitch, they're alive," and this kind of stuff. And they come in, they're from Philly, and like just the things they're doing, like these two guys. You got the fat guy and the skinny guy. I forget what they said their names were, and they're carrying, obviously they got guns, and the guy's really being pushy. He's being really pushy. And the thing is when you get into a situation like that, when you're just meeting somebody like that, you got to be really, really careful about how you know what I mean, present yourself. Because this guy was being pushy. He's like, like show us your farm, show us your farm, show us your farm. He said it a couple times, and he puts his gun down, shit like that. And, you know, I was not, this was totally unexpected to me completely. I never thought this was going to happen. This is a third spoiler warning. You know, turn this off now if you haven't seen the episode. So yeah, so the guys come in, and you know, the fat guy, he goes over and he starts taking a piss like right then and there, you know, which is just like oh, like you disgusting slob, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can understand from one perspective, it's like, you know, the world's different, you know what I mean? So, you know, those kinds of like courtesies and stuff like that doesn't really, you know, work anymore in the world, because going to the bathroom could even be dangerous. There could be lurkers in the bathroom, who knows? But still, I mean, you just get the sense that they're just like these disgusting slobs, you know what I mean? Like just gross and stuff, and what he's doing. And you know, and then the other guy, you know, he's being so pushy and stuff like that, and he's, you know, he's drilling them for questions, and he's trying to like, you know, and he says, oh, like, we're friends, you know, aren't we? And he's, you know, it's just, they're just slimy guys, you know, you just get that feeling that they're just slimy guys. So then he goes behind the counter, and Rick's got his hand, you know, close to his gun. And I never expected this to happen. I thought for sure that, you know, this would not happen, because like, you know, what we've seen from Rick so far. So we see a huge character shift in Rick, because he realizes the danger of these guys, and he has to do this to keep his whole group safe. Because the thing is that now people in that world are more dangerous than the zombies in that world. They're way more dangerous. So, you know, he has to do what he has to do to keep his group safe. So we get to see just a mind-blowing scene. My head exploded. Grabs his gun, you know, shoots the guy at the counter right in the right in the head. Turns around, blasts the fat guy right in his gut, like right here. And I think he shot him somewhere else. And I was just like, whoa! And then he walks around just like a pimp, and just, you know, kind of like, you know, just looking around. I was like I said, my head exploded. So that was the coolest scene I've seen. I mean, this season has been so awesome. Some people have saying on my channel like, "Oh, the season's not as good as the first one." What are you even talking about? What have you been watching? You know what I mean? I don't know what you're talking about. This season is awesome, man. You know, stuff like that. Like that is just so cool, man. Like I can't wait. I'm gonna watch this like 5 times over. I swear to God. So anyway, so that's that pretty much. Rick is totally changed. You know, Laurie's in distress. Hershal's daughter's been scratched by her mom zombie. And you know what I mean? All this stuff's happening. Now, the big thing, I haven't seen the sneak preview yet because I'm filming this right after the episode. Gonna watch it soon, and maybe I'll do a video talking about it. But here's the question. Were those guys alone? I don't think they were. I think there's more guys outside, because in the preview I saw for the second half of the second season, Rick says, you know, he kind of yells aside, he says, this isn't going to end well, you know, this kind of stuff. Because maybe those two guys weren't alone. There were other guys in the car and around that are obviously armed, for sure. And, you know, Rick's just shot them. So, you know, going to be this, you know, man, the next couple episodes going to be great. This episode, I absolutely love this episode. You know, like the change in Rick's character to first and pretty much dead already to put zombie Sophia down. You know, like this season where he used the rock to kill those zombies at the beginning, and now this where he's just like you know what these guys are capable of. The one fat guy's like grabbing at his gun, you know what I mean, already, and then Rick just really fast, just boom, boom, blows him away. Just, oh my God, awesome. So as for a score for this episode, this is a 10 out of 10. Some people might not agree with me that it is a perfect episode, but I feel this episode is absolutely perfect in every which way, because the thing is the last episode was a huge action episode, you know, with the ending and stuff. And the thing is when you have a show like this that's going on for that long, even a movie, you can't always have action scenes all the time. If you do that, you're going to end up with something like Battlefield Los Angeles. And unless you're like a 12-year-old kid, you know, after the first half an hour of action, you're like, when are they going to slow down? You know what I mean? You can't have straight through action all the time. You got to have some slow moments with character building and other things going on. You can't always have that boom, 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 boom all the time, because then it loses its effectiveness. Like Battlefield Los Angeles, I went and saw that with my girlfriend, and you know, we just like after half an hour, I was just like, oh my God, this is horrible. Like, you know, I can't stand this. Not to bash anybody who likes the movie, you know what I mean? It's all good. If you like it, that's cool. I'm just saying that you can't have action scenes all the time. It doesn't work. You gotta have the high points, and then, you know, when the arc ends or whatever, you gotta have some kind of low points with good character building, and then back up. This episode definitely mixed it well. A perfect episode. One of my favorite from the whole series, no question about it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna be doing every episode of The Walking Dead ever, unless something happens to me and I get bitten by a zombie or something, you know. Otherwise, it'll be on, man. And even if I'm a zombie, maybe I'll record myself, moaning and that kind of stuff. All right, that was stupid. Okay, guys, later. Travis saying peace.